Today we start a new topic in a contract management subject, chapter number 1, Introduction to Contract. So topic is a characteristic of a valid contract. So here 7 elements of the valid contract is given. So first one is there must be an offer, and second is there must be acceptance of the offer. Third one is there must be consideration. Fourth one is intent to create a legal relation between the parties or to firm or companies. Fifth, the party must be contractual capacity. Sixth one is the contract must not be unlawful or contrary to public policy. And last one is the contract must be by law. So one by one we discuss on it. So first we discuss about there must be an offer. So this is the first and most important elements of the valid and building agreement. And by being the first, I mean it is the foremost characteristic of a contract. The court will check in deciding whether a contract is a valid and binding. And for academic purpose, I will define an offer as the expression of willingness to contract on certain terms made with the intention that it shall become uh, binding as soon as it is accepted by the person whom it is addressed. And it can also be defined as the promise or a proposition made by one party called the offerer and the another party called offeree, clearly and precisely indicating the terms under which the offerer is willing to enter into a contract with offeree. So what is offerer and what is offeree? So the proposition is made by one party is known as a offerer, and the another party who accept the proposal is known as a offeree. So like I have already started an offer is the first ingredient to look out the ascertaining whether there is a contract or not, and where there is no offer there is no contract. So these are the main funda of the contract. Now in order to proposition to amount to an offer capable of acceptance, 4 conditions must be there. So here 4 conditions compulsory satisfied, then after we accept the contract and we prepare the document. So first condition is it must be defined certain and unequal. Second is it must be communicated to the offeree. Third one is the communication of the offer must be authorized. And last one is it must be made to a particular person or to a class or a group of persons or to public at a large. Now second characteristic of the contract is there must be acceptance of the offer. So the second characteristic of the valid and binding contract is acceptance. An offer which has been made and has not been withdrawn or terminated must be accepted before it can be result in a contract. And simply put, acceptance is the final and unqualified expression of absent to the terms of an offer. And in a dialect noted that the qualified acceptance of an offer cannot give rise to binding agreement between the parties. And Aboki JCA has also defined the acceptance as the reciprocal act or action of the offeree to an offer in which indicate his agreement to the terms of the offer as conveyed to him by the offerer, and his leadership went further to say that the acceptance of the offer may be demonstrated by the conduct of a party's word and by document that have passed between them. Now, for conduct to a constituents acceptance, it must be unequivocally traceable to the transaction to the constitute acceptance. Where there is missing link between the conduct of a parties and the transaction, a court of the law will not be prepared to hold that valid contract exists between them, and acceptance is an important an offer in a valid and binding contract because it shows that the offeree is will to contract on a terms proposed in the offer, no doubt, and it is one of the major characteristic of the binding of the contract. So here offer acceptance. So what is offer acceptance? So when any person or party prepare an offer, so he is known as an offerer, and who accept the terms and condition is known as a offeree. So here, if all the conditions and terms and condition are valid and accepted by the offeree, so contract is accepted by the offeree, and both the parties are bind with the contract. So these are the most important characteristic of the binding of the contract. Now third one is there must be consultation. So consultation is another essential characteristic of the valid contract which is not under seal. So the term consultation has been defined as price for which the defendant's promise is brought. So the definition was given by the Pollock in his book, his Principle of Contract. So to sustain an action in a contract, the plaintiff must be established either that the contract is contained in a document under seal deed, or that it is supported by the consultation. So what this really means is that the plaintiff must be give the something in a return for the promise made to the promisee, and the price or something given in is what is known as a consultation. So consultation make a take a several forms, like it may be made promise, an act, a right conferred on the defendant, and benefit given to the defendant, or even a for forbearance suffered by the plaintiff. And in a light of the above information, consultation does not only consist of a profit by the one party but also exists where the party abandons some legal right in the present or limit his legal freedom of action in a future as an inducement for the promise of the first. And it is irrelevant where the one party benefits, but it is enough that he accept the consultation and that he party give it does not thereby undertake some burden or loss something which is contemplation of the law may be of a value. Now fourth characteristic of the contract is intention to create a legal relation between the party. Now so far we have agreed that for a valid contract to a result there must be an offer and a corresponding acceptance supported by the consultation in some cases. So it does not stop that. So another important characteristic of the valid and binding contract is the presence of the intention to create a legal relation between the party. So according to Lord Stowen in Dalrymple versus Dalrymple, so contract must be not be the support of idle lovers, matters of pleasantly, and badinage never intended by the parties to have any serious effect whatever. So some legal scholars are the option that there is actual no need to include the requirement of the intention to support a valid and binding contract. However, it is clear that the element of intention to enter into the legal relation has come to stay in a common law of contract, and apparently not all the agreement is accompanied with the intention to enter into the legal relation. So it is important to prove that there was an intention to create a legal relation between the parties. Now, fifth one characteristic of the contract is the party must be contractual capacity. So even when all the other characteristic of the binding agreement or a contract has been met, it may be nevertheless turn turn out to be illegal, violable, or unenforceable as a result of the kind of a person who enter into the contract. And it is important to note that the contract may not be enforceable against the certain categories of the people who enjoy special status in a contractual transactions. And the privilege is intended as a protection for people who, because of their circumstances, can easily be exploited or defrauded in the making of a contract. And this protected group include infants and person unsound mind or lunatic drunken person, married married woman, and illiterates. And in Nigeria, the requirement of the contract capacity is important in relation to the above protected group of the people. All other person have full contractual capacity. Now another six number characteristic of the contract is the contract must not be unlawful or contrary to the public policy. So if the contract is contrary to law in force, then it is like a very important characteristic of the valid and binding contract. So an unlawful contract is a illegal contract is a contract which is expressly prohibited or forbidden by the law and whose formation is unusually followed by a penal section. Such a contract differ from the void contract in that a void contract is not expressly forbidden or visited with a section, but merely emptied or any legal force. An illegal contract is void and cannot be foundation of the legal right. And a contract may be illegal by status or common law, and a contract which are made by illegal status can exist in a various forms. So for insurance, where the contract is expressly prohibited by the status and where there is a regulation of a particular trade, profession, or the dealing in a particular commodity, where there is protection or uh, class or a group of people of by law. Now an example of the law that protect a class of people is illiterate protection act. it is provided in section number 3 that any person who write a prepares a document at the request of an behalf of an illiterate person must read it over and explain the content to the illiterate person before the later sign. It make his mark on it, and a case of clarity shows that this is the through goods case Weider early explained in this article. And there are also contracts which are illegal by the common law of on a ground of a public policy. Take for instance contract to common crime. Now we have fraud contract, prejudicial and status of the marriage contract, prejudicial to a public safety contract, prejudicial to the administration of the justice, and non contract capable of corrupting public life. Now last one characteristic of the contract is the contract must be in the form of the required by law. So sometimes the law may be a particular kind of the contract should be in a particular format. So for instance, the law may provide that contract that has to do with transportation must be in a written form, and if the law provide for this, then any contract that has to do with transportation but does not follow these rules, it is valid and cannot be binding. And the law can also provide the contract should take the shape of mere writing embodies in a deed or requirement of authentication by the notary or magistrate, and the rationale for this is to promote certain in a law and to prevent a person from being bound by the hasty promise. Like here example is given, like law that requires the contract must be in the written form in a statute of fraud of 1677 in section number 4 of this law. It provides no action shall be brought whereby to change the defendant upon any special promise to answer for a debate, default or miscarriage of another person unless there is written evidence of the promise. So here we discuss total 7 characteristics of the contract. Now in the next lecture we discuss enforceable of the contract. So here we stop our lecture. Thank you.